9/10 of which everyone can agree with. But Governor Cuomo's Women's Equality Act, so-called Women's Equality Act, includes a provision that would enshrine third trimester abortion into New York state law, and would allow for non-doctors to do it. Joe, do you remember the Jennifer Morbelli case out of New York State not that long ago, right? Within the last year, Jennifer Morbelli, in her third trimester of pregnancy, found out that there was going to be something wrong with her baby girl. So she went to Maryland to have that late-term abortionist, a medical doctor, Carhart, abort her child. Well, what he did was he killed her child, but he killed Jennifer also. So 2 people ended up dead that day. A medical doctor doing a third trimester abortion ends up with 2 dead people. Now our governor wants to put third trimester, so abandon children completely, third trimester abortion, and allow non-doctors to perform them. So we're going to toss away the children, and we're going to toss away the women also. So we're just going to worship at the altar of abortion, and really, of course, worship at the altar of politics, that for whatever reason he thinks somehow that this is going to be good for him. So it's unbelievable, really. Who can, with a straight face, say that it is good for a woman to have a third trimester abortion done by anyone? Okay. Who's not a doctor? I mean, can you just even imagine? Governor Cuomo has, I don't know, he's gone down a road. As we all know, he has just decided that he has his own way that he wants to do things, that he is, God himself, I guess, and that he wants to do what he wants to do, and to H with the children and the women and everyone else. And abortion, Joe, all of our feminist foremothers, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony, Matilda Gage, the women who got us the right to vote, the right to own property, the right to participate in the political process, called abortion child murder and infanticide, and they blamed men. So that's what true feminism is. True feminism is a nonviolent movement for the equality of all people. It actually rejects the idea that because you're bigger and stronger, you get to hurt me, or you get to trample on me or my rights. Well, what is abortion? Abortion is a grown woman saying that a little baby is in her way. And so we're going to be able to trample out our children, step over the bodies of our kids in order to be fully feminist. That's the opposite of feminism. It's the complete opposite of feminism. Feminism, nonviolent movement about the equality of all members of the human family. And so we have a governor who's pretending that this is about women's rights for his own political purposes, and we have women who are being harmed, and we have children who are being thrown away like garbage.
What are some of the other issues in New York State and nationally that you and Right to Life are dealing with?
We're dealing with non-voluntary euthanasia, which is something I'm glad that you asked about, because this is something that's so critically important. It's a train that's been coming down the tracks for so long. Now it's happening in hospitals that people don't even, like we were talking about a minute ago, people don't even realize it until it happens to you. And that is, so there are 3 things: voluntary, non-voluntary, and involuntary euthanasia. Involuntary is, don't shoot me, but we shoot you anyway. But non-voluntary is when somebody has never spoken about what they would want. So, it used to be that you didn't have to say, if you got hit by a truck, please try to put me back together, right? This was just something that we did for other people. We helped you. So now, if you've never spoken, then because of the Equal Protection Clause, the 14th Amendment, and the Constitution and the 14th Amendment, now, because in some places, like let's say, for example, in some of the states where assisted suicide is legal, or in any state where you and I have the right to reject treatment, right? So I'm worn out, I've had chemo for 6 times now, and I'm at the very end of life, and all it's going to be now is palliative. I don't want any more. We have the right to say that, right? Well, so I have the right to, but that's all under the umbrella of the right to reject treatment. And so if you and I, as conscious and competent human beings, have the right to something like death, therefore, because we've rejected this treatment, you see, then therefore somebody who cannot speak for themselves, somebody who's not competent to make those decisions, should have that right too. So whereas before, you and I had the right to life, we had the right to say, no, protect us. We extended the right to life to those people. Now that's been turned upside down on its head. And so the beauty is, Joe, that we are now at a place where the next generation coming up, teenagers, college students, certainly women, are rejecting those things. We see that the statistics are more and more where it's just, and from all political persuasions, all walks of life, all of that, people are becoming more and more pro-life, instinctively rejecting the killing of other members of the human family as an answer to anything.
One thing, and this happened in another show that we did earlier today, it's very important for people to make sure that those that are getting older or have health problems, that they have someone in the family or someone legally to represent them in a hospital situation.
Yes, yes. I'm so glad that you said that, because this is another thing that is so important, is that people either don't think and they don't sign any legal documents, or they think, well, I'll have my husband, or I'll have my best friend, or I'll have my mom, or someone like that. Now, hopefully, your husband is someone who you've chosen, your wife is someone you've chosen. Hopefully, when you got married, you agreed on things that as fundamental as this, but I think we both know a lot of people get married without knowing enough. And so we just counsel people to not choose because they're your best friend or choose that, but to have serious conversations with someone. And two things matter: not just that they share your values, but second, that they're fighters, that you have somebody who will go to battle against the hospital or against an individual doctor and say, no, 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 she would want this treatment, we do want her to have this treatment. And because there's a lot of pressure in hospitals to stop treatment of people with disabilities and people who are very sick.
A friend of mine is a close friend of a very famous female vocalist, and she had been living with someone for years, and that individual had a heart attack, and she called and the paramedics came and the person was in the hospital. All of a sudden she realized, because they had never gotten married and nothing had been done in writing, that she had absolutely no legal right to have any input on the treatment for her friend. And
yeah.
As soon as he got well enough out of intensive care, they got married. Because,
okay.
and I think that's something that people don't realize, that you really have to prepare for that.
You have to prepare for that. You know, one of my closest friends right now in Albany is in Albany Medical Center. She's in her 40s and she had a stroke. So now it's been 6 weeks, and she's in the middle of an unpleasant divorce, but legally she's not divorced. So right. Now she's actually appointed one of her children, so there are some different things going on, but she was in grave danger in the beginning. And now 6 weeks later, just a couple of days ago, she began to respond. And so if they had taken away her treatment right away, I mean, your brain needs time for swelling to go down, you know. And we found out too that now with people in comas, where they used to say, well, if it doesn't happen within the first 6 months or the first year, you're not coming out of that coma. Now we find that sometimes it's years later where the brain has regenerated some of those.
We only have a couple minutes left. Is there anything else that you'd like to say about Right to Life, or how folks can get in touch with your organization,
yes.
either in New York State or nationally, because you're national and statewide?
Yes, yes, please. The United States of America has been formed, is what it is, because people have gotten involved. People have fought for the rights of other people, whether it was the suffragettes or the people in the human rights movement, the civil rights movement, all of these things through time. So I would just plead with people to get involved. You can contact New York State Right to Life at newyorkstate-righttolife.org. You can contact National Right to Life at nrlc.org. And I would really encourage people, you can go right to our website and you can click on the Will to Live, and there's a completely done legal document. It's free, and you can sign that. It's a protective document as long as you write the right things in there. And I'd be happy to help people fill those out also. And our number is 518-434-1293. 518-434-1293.
Well, Lori Kehoe, the Executive Director for Right to Life in all of New York State and the Congressional Liaison for Right to Life, it is so nice to have you join us again. You're always a great guest, and we hope to have you back again sometime.
So good to see you, Joe. Thanks so much.
Our guest has been Lori Kehoe from Right to Life in New York State, and she's also the Congressional Liaison. And if you want to get in touch with Lori, you can go to their website, or what's the phone number again? 518-434-1293. I'm Joe Condon. Thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful day.